When you buy a game through an online service like Steam, Origin, or Uplay, you are paying money to play the game. However, since it is their service, their launcher, you do not own a copy of the game. There is no physical media for you to pop into a cartridge when you want to use it and store it on a shelf when you're not using it. All they give you is a token that allows you to download a virtual copy and launch and play the game. However, that token and the game can be taken away at a moment's notice. If the launcher service decides that they no longer want it on their platform, or if the service stops getting support, or if it gets blocked in your region due to some copyright laws or 2,000-year-old lawmakers getting spooked by it, you can no longer access the product you have paid for. And for me personally, that's a huge problem. It shouldn't be that way. Now, I have a old GameCube and a Nintendo 64 with a variety of games for both. Most of them I just found at pawn shops and for some reason bookstores, because they seem to sell a lot of stuff like that. And most of the studios and publishers for the games are long gone, and there's absolutely no support available for them. And yet, I can still play the games whenever I want. And on top of that, they were completely finished products on release, because they couldn't just upload patches to the game to modify it or fix bugs. It had to be a completed project before it launched. Nowadays, it's pretty normal practice to wait months after the release of a game to buy it, because the vast majority of large titles on launch from the big publisher are unfinished. Because, some sales executive that can't quite figure out how to use a computer beyond an email service and an Excel spreadsheet has decided to set a launch date that is way too premature for the game. It's like having a baby and giving birth 5 months in because you don't care how developed the child is, and then having the poor kid on life support for a year or two. Then, once the half-baked project is finally finished, if you're lucky, around a year after the release, typically, support drops off entirely, pretty much. Then, if you're a company called Ubisoft, you render the game unplayable after a few years and try to erase it off of the face of the planet. Speaking of Ubisoft, it's a company I dislike. I literally made a video talking about how much I don't like them. You should go watch that, and then you should watch all of my other videos, and then maybe subscribe if you feel so inclined. This is why I believe piracy is not only a good idea, but essential to giving power back to people who are playing games, watching movies, and listening to music. So basically, everyone. Unless you live under a rock or you're Amish. Now, obviously, there's a lot of things to keep in mind with piracy. It's very illegal. You gotta be tech savvy, and you must have good intuition where you go, and you need to remember a pirated copy of any media gives zero money to whoever owns it. Which, that can be a good thing, depending on who owns the property. I'm going to leave a link to a good guide I found in the description, so if you ever want to own your media instead of buying a ticket to access it, I would suggest checking that out. For the legality of it, there are some really hefty fines and punishments put into place, like if you release a paid product for people to download and own for free, you absolutely cannot get caught, because you could face up to life in prison over that. Nintendo has had people imprisoned for life over less. As for downloading the pirated media, you have to be really dumb to get in trouble for that. There's such a low risk involved. As long as you're mindful with how you use and distribute it, you're going to be completely fine. You also can't just go to any old website and click any link you come across, because for every safe download, there are 10 malicious ones that will download who knows what on your computer, from spyware to malware, and that will do more than just ruin your day. So for a quick breakdown, big game company bad, except for Valve in my opinion, because, they're privately owned. Gabe Newell is a saint, and as far as I know, there's nothing malicious that they've done that's against the people who use their service. unlike every other game company to ever exist. You don't own what you buy. You should own what you buy, and be careful pirating. Thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe if you've enjoyed watching. Leave a comment if you've got something to say, and have an excellent day.